The Consequential High School Years of Doc Hardon. Father John Anthony Hardon's life story would make a great movie, but is for every soul an even better reality. Father Hardon made it a point to reflect in his spiritual autobiography about the importance of and his appreciation for a proper Catholic school education during childhood. When the time for his high school years had arrived, his mother was unable to afford Catholic high school tuition. However, a high school 15 minutes from his house called Cathedral Latin offered prospective students what he called a competitive admission, for which he said he was providentially qualified. No one states things like Father Hardon. In his spiritual autobiography For Every Soul, Father Hardon referred to his high school years at Cathedral Latin as a major shift in his life. He recalls in his spiritual autobiography, "I can honestly say that my days in high school so deeply confirmed my faith that, with God's help, it has remained stable over the years ever since." He further recalled, "I will never forget what Brother told us about the damage done to Western society by the widespread penetration of Protestantism in the Western world. To this day, I remember what we were told about religious freedom in our country. We were told that since Martin Luther, there has been no true social freedom in our society." He recalled further, "I still remember how the teachers stressed the importance of a common religious faith in our country that wants to practice true freedom and not only call itself a free nation." Father Hardon also reported having learned in high school that, quote, "the survival and strength of the Catholic faith finally depends on Jesus Christ." He reminisced that he was impacted by many of the traditions passed on to him and the other students by their instructors, the Brothers of Mary. One of those highly valued and valuable traditions was to begin and then end every class with a prayer, a practice that Father Hardon continued during his teaching ministry and passed on to his students by word and by example. He remembered one of his instructors teaching the students to cultivate good habits, for otherwise one will have bad habits instead. How important it is, the young people were taught, to cultivate and nurture a devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Immaculate Mother of God, throughout one's life. From Saint Pio of Pietrelcina, "May the Mother of Jesus and our Mother always smile on your spirit, obtaining for it, from her most holy Son, every heavenly blessing." Father Hardon noted that during his high school years, he desired to continue his education by going to college, but knew that his mother did not earn enough money to cover the cost. One day, she told her son with an apostolic mission that she had set aside for that very purpose the $400 in compensation she had received years ago from her late husband's place of work, along with the interest that had accrued on it through the years. That money covered the cost of his first 3 years of college. Father Hardon shared that before finishing his high school years, he seriously considered entering the seminary, but had concerns about departing from his widowed mother and leaving her alone. He revealed that while he knew good young women in high school, he never seriously dated, since he was discerning his calling to the priesthood. His mother, he disclosed, was a, quote, "very important advisor," unquote, in this regard. She recognized the God-given gifts in her son, and they both strived to cultivate them in order to accomplish God's most perfect will, as they witnessed the mystery of God's plans for him unfold through his mother and also through his late father. To form a person's conscience is to teach that person What is God's will for that person in the changing circumstances of each individual's life? Father John Anthony Hardon S.J., The Art of Forming the Conscience of a Child. Anna Hardon revealed to her son during those years that, after having been widowed, she had received several marriage proposals, but due to her concern for his, quote, spiritual future, unquote, she did not accept one, in order, quote, to encourage any possible vocation he may have had. In imitation of the Immaculate Mother of God, Mrs. Hardon sacrificed her own personal welfare, not to mention standard of living, in order to help her son accomplish his God-given apostolic mission for the sake of a world in very serious, grave peril. Father Hardon disclosed he already knew for sure by that time that, quote, God wanted me to share with others what I so undeservedly believed I already knew and would learn in the years to come, unquote. Father Hardon's calling to be an educator was clearly recognized by high school peers who referred to him as Doc Hardon. Thanks be to God, by his senior year of high school, Father Hardon, quote, wanted nothing more, unquote, than to share his Catholic faith with other people. He said, little did I realize how much I needed humility and how dearly I would have to pay to grow in the virtue in the years to come.